When it comes to like haunted stuff and shit like that, I don't really. I'm real like I don't believe it, but then I'm not one to go in there.
You don't seek
and
it.
find out. Yeah, but like it's interesting to find videos that have like the shit moving, like the chair moving, something falling, and shit happens. Like happened to me where shit will fall. Like, oh, how the fuck did that happen? But it's never like I'm never scared or automatically like, oh shit. I just think like, oh, gravity or some shit.
Yeah, I try to figure out an explanation for it. To me, it's like haunting and ghosts and shit like that. It doesn't scare me as much as it used to. Because when I was a kid, I used to see shadows and shit in my room and shit all the time, and it would scare me. I would hide under the covers and shit back then. But now, I'm not scared of that shit no more.
I hide sometimes.
I'm not scared of that shit because, well, I mean, realizing like what can it really do to me? Can't do nothing to me. Especially now that I'm a believer in Christ. I feel like that ain't gonna do nothing to me. I'll walk towards that thing. It's not gonna do it. It has no power over me. The only thing is the only way you can scare me, like dropping some shit is no longer scary to me. Like something dropping by itself, that's no longer scary to me. If you appear to me, maybe that's how you get me. So if the ghosts are listening, that's how you get me. You have to appear to me in my face, and you can't look normal. I think even if you look normal, I think it would still spook me out.
I mean, if it was just like a groan.
But because remember when I told you, like, I don't know, a couple months ago when I seen that lady walk across the hallway, that shit spooked me. And I can't remember the last time I've been spooked like that since I was a kid. It goes back that far. That shit spooked me because I seen somebody walk across the hallway. I mean, like sideways. So when that shit was creepy because even later on in the night, it was just constantly in my mind. When I had to get up out of my room and go to the bathroom,
it would trigger.
Yeah, I would think about it, and sometimes I didn't want to look down the hall because I'm like, what if it appears again? And I'm like, well, fuck it. Sometimes I would look at it on purpose just because I was a little afraid if it happened again. But I wanted it to happen so you can see it. Because that was crazy. And I feel like that's one of the in recent memory, that's the only thing. Like, it seemed like that shit hasn't happened to me no more.
Nothing. You were like this, right?
Yeah, I was looking straight.
You know how sometimes you see shit move from like this?
From the corner. I seen it straight head on. And it just walked and it looked like a girl. And all I could see is hair. And I thought it was my mom. So when I seen that shit spooked me. And that's probably like the last time it spooked me. Because I've heard shit like in my room and shit like that. And sounds don't really scare me. They kind of just piss me off. Like if something is doing, like I remember the ceiling fan would just kick on randomly at night times. And I broke that shit. And then I had to fix it because that shit was broken. But it didn't scare me. There's a lot of times at nighttime where I would wake up if something back then when it was happening, because this shit hasn't happened to me anymore. And I would be like, do it while I'm awake. Like, I'm not sleeping. Like, stop fucking with me. Let me go to sleep. Like, if you're going to try to do something, do it right now. Wide awake. And I'd be like, that's what I thought. Like, because that shit to me, that shit doesn't happen to me no more. And I wonder why.
I think just because you don't believe in it anymore. I think a lot of times when you...
But it's not that I don't believe in it. If anything...
Yeah, but your mind was so... when you're younger, your mind's so... you make your brain believe that it's more real than... or has more power than it actually does.
Yeah, that's probably it.
So you're convinced that, any little thing would make it 10 times more worse.
Yeah, like my mom always said... I think her dad said that... Don't be afraid of the dead people. Be afraid of the people living. Those are the motherfuckers that jack you and that harm you. That with the dead, what is the dead gonna do to you? But that's the last time I can remember like being scared. Because I remember being scared as a kid and shit. And going under the covers and being hot as fuck under there and not caring because I'm not taking it off. Like, because I was so scared. And this was when we were in 427. And I don't know how old was I, probably like 12, 13. And I remember seeing shit like that all the time. And then now as I'm older, it makes me think of like, what was that? And was it just me? Like, because It's like you could have sworn. I could have sworn that if you look in, like when I looked at the shit, it looked like a shadow was right there. And because there was at times where I slept in the living room, then I would look in the corner, and it would look like there's a shadow figure right there, just still all black. You can't see anything, but you can tell because it seems like there's a difference in darkness from the darkness of the night, and then the darkness of whatever's right there. And it seems like that's weird. And do you think that if there really is ghosts and shadows and whatever, right, that is scaring people, why do you think they scare people? Do you think it's like a good versus evil type shit? Because people talk about how the devil would try to deceive people if he was real, right? Wouldn't he want you to steer on the wrong path, or to do something, or to fuck with you in a manner?
It seems that if the ghost shit was real, there would have to be a goal, right? Because why the fuck else would you expend any type of energy to appear or whatever, or drop something or whatever? There's got to be a mission or some type of achievement that you're trying to unlock. And the only thing I can think of is to remind the regular humans that is either there's like an afterlife, or that there's evil, like evil is real, or like at least something negative is real and it exists in some form, to give you. I think it would have to be something negative though, because you would think that if they're scaring you, it would be scaring you straight.
Maybe it's just to fuck with you, whatever it is. But first we have to figure out, okay, if it is a shadowy figure, what is that? Is that a human who once lived? Or is that some other shit? Is there some spiritual realm that we can't see?
What if it's aliens? That's when you like cloak. Their cloak's not that good.
Yeah, but then what would they gain from scaring us? On some Monsters Inc. shit, or what? Their scares fuel their shit or whatever?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. See, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I used to think like freaking, like Bigfoot's alien. And when I was heavy into Bigfoot, watch everything Bigfoot related.
Yeah, but Bigfoot is something that not a lot of people encounter. Like, sure, there's a lot of people, but not like the average person. Like people who live in the woods, maybe. But people who live in town, they're never going to talk about they seen Bigfoot. But ghosts are everywhere. You hear it like a lot of times. You probably can ask anybody and they have a story. Anybody. So, and I think that says something about whether ghosts are real or not. How come so many people have so many stories? And like Joe Rogan said in his recent podcast, he said that he believes that items and shit like that store energy, and that he talked about the table that his podcast shit is in, the podcast table he uses. He's like, I believe that this table has carried energy or something. Every guest leaves something behind who's touched this table. And he's like, so he believes that energy or something is something that is stored in places. And he's like, because you can feel it. And he wonders what the heck that is.
I mean, that's interesting. If that's a real thing, it means every item will carry some type of energy from someone or someplace, right? So, you would think it'd be all positive if it's only the people you fuck with that are visiting your house, but you never know.
Yeah, because he brought up the thing of like, if somebody was murdered in the house, you're like in a new, you say you're house shopping, and there's a house that it's a nice ass house, hella nice, and because somebody died there, the house value has went down, right? Like nobody still wants it, and he'd be like, why? Why doesn't nobody want it? Why? It's because either it just creeps them out, the idea. He's like, especially if somebody was brutally murdered there, brutally, like multiple times stabbed or something like that, something crazy went on there, or like people, like even a house, say that witches live there or some shit like that, and did rituals and shit like that. Nobody would want that house.
Because it seems negative, huh?
Well,
like
and
negative energy.
So it seems like doesn't that mean that they believe, damn near everybody believes in that shit does something, or it just creeps you out?
Yeah, I think it's like a vibe. You get the vibe for it's ruined for the house when somebody dies there. So it's like yeah, you would never. And then even if you don't believe in it, just the fact somebody died there is off-putting. There's no plus other than the price drop. But I guarantee there's some people out there that are like looking for homes that people have been murdered in, huh? Because they just for a discount.
I'm pretty sure that people are probably because some people don't care, believe it or not, or they don't mind it. But I mean, I think it would be interesting because then like all these places, all these haunted houses and shit, supposedly, you think they're really haunted? Like how they sell tickets and shit. Like I don't know what house it was called, the Conjuring House. I think it's that one. Yeah, I think it's that one. You could rent to go sleep there or some shit like that. I don't know if it's that one. It might be a different one. I don't know. But there's multiple places that you can rent that are like some of the haunted in America, supposedly. And it's like, if it's in business, doesn't that mean that people get results?
Well, I think it's all like it's like a pre-planned thing. Like, and I think because you go into with the expectation and you go into it with the whole, this house happened to be this or whatever. You come with the expectation already knowing that some bad shit happened to there. I think heightens your like want to believe it so much more that when little shit happens here and there, you're like, oh, this happened to me.
Yeah, because there's no rationalizing in a haunted house, huh? If something happens, shit, it's a ghost.
Yeah. And then who knows, it's like people, if it's a haunted house, if they have like shit that's like key to happen. Like they have people go in there, purpose? Like a key to happen. So they're, because it'd be good for business. Why not? If you can turn the fucking, the sink on electronically somehow without them knowing, right? They're going to be like, what the fuck, right? So if you can do shit like that, people will be like,
shit would get exposed eventually.
Yeah, but you need to be, if you're real discreet with it, then probably one day, but then they can just be like, oh, we removed them.
There's people who just go to graveyards at like 2 a.m. and just film. Like,
it's something creepy too about darkness, complete darkness. And the graveyards seem like there's complete fucking darkness.
Yeah, because there's no light posts.
Yeah, but like you would think.
I mean, certain ones.
You would think it'd be a little like lit, like a little bit. But you would
think like, even if you're visiting a loved one, right? You're not going to stay there after dark. Because it's not just your loved one there. It's who knows how many bodies there. And it's just that idea was creepy, right? But cemeteries have a closing time.
I have no idea.
I think, yeah, they do.
You'd want to get buried?
Yeah. I just think, yeah.
Like, just so like a regular burial?
Well, what do you mean? Like,
because you know how, I don't know. I'm not like, we've been hella fortunate in our life that like, no, like people have passed, but not no one like that we know really close, like media wise. So we've been really fortunate. So we haven't, I mean, down the line, I'm sure everyone eventually goes through this shit. But you ever seen when the people are in a funeral and they're driving their car and like there's like a leader and everybody's following them and they are like, they're crewed up like 20 deep or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what the purpose of that is. Like, is that normal?
I don't know. I don't know.
And then there's like a showing. There's like this thing where it's like, you have the open casket thing.
Yeah, I think that's optional.
And then you rent like a thing, like a place. I forgot what the heck it's called. And you invite the people to come over and then the family speaks and then they do the showing thing. And everybody goes up and like says their last goodbyes, open casket wise or whatever.
Yeah. What do you think that's a little weird or what do you think?
It just seems odd. But it's like, maybe it's odd because we've never done it. Like that's not our thing. But it's like, it just seems odd that you're dead there. There's a dead person and people are going to go talk to you.
Because it just seems real weird. It just seems like a lot of people need to see as a confirmation, that you're gone.
Makes sense.
So that's their last goodbye or whatever to that person.
It's weird that it's weird though. I still think it's weird to do that showing thing, right? You do that showing thing. and then you go bury him, and then you can either do like a public or like private burial thing where it's just immediate family, and then afterwards you do this food thing where everybody comes out and they eat. And I'm like, that seems weird. It seems
traditional
weird.
thing.
It seems weird that you like one of your relatives just died, right? You got to pay for all these expenses for the funeral shit, right? Then you go bury them, and then you got to pay for everybody to come out and eat.
Well, I think maybe it's just like a thank you for being here, like a people are hungry.
It's like why people are hungry.
Yeah, you get hungry after the time. So.
Yeah, but it's like go feed yourself. Like the family just lost somebody, and now they got to pay you to feed everyone. Makes no sense. Like everybody else should be feeding them. If anything, if you're gonna come out to support or to show any respect or whatever, now you like give me some food. Nah, this doesn't seem right.
Well, I don't know,
and I don't know how common that is.
I think it's pretty common. I think.
So it's like, I don't know. I feel like if me, I would want it to be super crazy private. Immediate family.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who they don't like to go to the showing, like how you said. Like my mom's one of those people where she talks about like, she's like, one day I know if I lose a parent, I won't see him. I don't want to see him. I want to remember them as like the last memory of them to be was them alive, not seeing them dead. Yeah. But to me, I think, I think maybe I need that confirmation because to me, I never got that with Alex. When I talked to his sister and I talked to her, she told me it's going to be closed. So she's like, you're not going to be able to see him. And to me, I'm like, I kind of wanted to see him so I can see that, so I could burn that image in my head. Like, this is real. Like, because, I guess there's because to me, sometimes, like, I don't forget. To me, I heard a lot of people say sometimes they still think, he's alive or whatever, or some people still call him or whatever. I'm like, nah, I never forget. I know in my head it's a real thing. But for me, like, I just think, like, I don't want to hide myself from the realities of life. The dark shit from it. Like, but I think also too, like being there to see him get buried, that's something that I wanted to do. It's just something, because I remember when I went to visit his gravestone, they were burying another person there, and I was just there, because I was looking for his gravestone, my friend's gravestone, and I didn't know where it was at. So I was like trying to figure out where it was at, looking everywhere, trying to see if I can get somebody. I walked to the front and I called the number. I told them I'm trying to find my friend. And I told them, and they said, they gave me a number. And then they said, if you can't find it, ask somebody and they'll help you. Like there's usually somebody cutting the grass or maintaining the cemetery. They'll know where it's at. Just talk to them, tell them the name and everything, and then they'll find them. All right. But that person was busy. He was busy with that other person's, helping the family. I don't know with what. I think he was on I think on a bobcat or something. I don't know. He was on something. And I didn't want to be rude and like go up to them while they're burying. So I just stood there and, and people were looking at me like, who's this guy? But I just stood there respectfully. And then when he got a chance, that's when I told him, hey, can you help me? And then he said, yeah. And we were looking for it. He didn't even know where it was at. And then I was like, in my head, I'm like, we have to find it. Like, what do you mean? Like, you don't know where it's at? He's like, yeah, it was here. And then eventually we ended up finding it. But I don't know if it's disrespectful because when we were trying to find it, we were jumping over people's graves, just like stepping over the stone. A lot of stones are in the ground. They're not just like how you normally see them. So I was jumping over and I didn't know whether that's disrespectful or not, but he was doing it, So I'm like, if he's doing it, then it must be a normal thing. Like, I don't mean no disrespect, but we're trying to find the stone here, So I was doing it, but I'm like, I don't know if that's disrespectful or not. But eventually we found it, and he said it had been moved because they had put his brother with him because his brother had died 2 years later. So they had put him separate. So when he died, they joined them together. So that's why I couldn't find it, because they had switched them. So I'm like, all right, but it was a weird thing, being there, seeing somebody get buried. And you could see that a bunch of people are sad there, and me looking for my friend's gravestone. It was a weird thing to experience, and I didn't know whether what the rules were of what am I supposed to do? How do you supposed to go in and then out and then in and then out, or because we were just jumping?
Yeah, and I think I don't know if it is or not, but I can't. It seems weird to imagine somebody being gone. It seems hella weird to imagine that the likelihood of something like that happening is 100%.
It's gonna happen to all of us.
And I was talking to our sister, telling her we need to start thinking about plans as far as I want to know how everybody wants to go. If they want to be burned, if they want to be buried, and we need to start figuring shit out, who keeps what.
That funny thing saying that, I looked up what happens to a bank account when you die, and it says that your funds freeze, your account freezes, and you normally you have to go to court to get access to someone's bank account. But how do you do that? There's actually something you can do so that you just in case. And that, I think it's somebody who has to have access to that account.
Yeah.
In order to be able to pull out the funds. Because say if something happened to me or I died or whatever, right? And you have my bank cards, right? Say you have my wallet and you go to the bank and withdraw my money, that's illegal. So you can't do that. And I'm I understand maybe because maybe some brothers are not close or some family members and some people may just be trying to steal. But how come it isn't if I have funds in my account and I die, why can't they write you a check for the funds of the cemetery, or something like that, or to the services or stuff, something like that? Why can't it be done like that?
Because otherwise
you have to provide proof of look, he's being buried here, and then the cemetery sends you or gives you something that you can give to the bank. Or they could send it, they could fax it to them directly. Then the bank verifies and says, okay, all right, this is legit. And then they send the check that way. Yeah, and it doesn't even touch the person. It goes straight to the cemetery.
Yeah, if they do that, you say...
No, they don't do that.
Oh.
I'm saying, why don't they do that? Because the money would just freeze. And then you would have to fight to see if you can get into it.
Yeah, otherwise the state keeps it.
I don't know what happens with it.
I think the state keeps it. And then I don't understand why... It make it. I mean, I understand. Like you said, that not every family's gonna get along. So it's if this dude has $200,000 in his bank, and everybody's gonna want to steal it.
Why isn't it a standard that when you make an account, they give you a paper and say name 5 people?
Maybe these people don't have 5 people.
Well, no, you don't have to name whoever you have, and if you don't have nobody, then you leave it blank. And then we're in the same boat we're on right now. But I'm saying name 5 people, and you could always change these 5 people whenever you want. And you could just, and if you happen to die, in the case that you die, this amount of money will go. And you could split it by percentages. You could split it by whatever amount you have gets distributed between these people or whatever you want to do. Why isn't there that?
Yeah,
there's nothing.
Yeah, no, I think nothing. You got to go in there and tell them, and there's got to be, you got to have some type of relative as your beneficiary for a lot of shit. I think we should do some shit like that. Everyone have access to everything, huh? So that there's no way the state would keep our money.
Yeah, because who knows what happens in that situation. See, I think death is something people don't want to talk about. I think it's very
uncomfortable.
Yeah, to a lot of people, and people want to avoid it because they don't want to even imagine that. But it's a reality, that who knows?
Yeah, and I much rather I'd much rather talk about it now so that I know exactly how everybody wants to, if everybody wants to be buried, then that's what it'd be. But
I mean, well, who wants to be burned? I mean, I I mean, it doesn't really
Some
matter.
people
Like,
don't really care.
like it doesn't really, I guess when you think about it, like, well, my dad cares.
I know some people
He's
care.
stern about that. Like, you better not burn me. Like, you bury me. And
Yeah,
it's just like, well, the whole reason I think of a burial is what's nice is that there's a place that you're there. Even if it's just bones. You know, that's your bones that I can go and visit.
But after so many
There's
years,
a piece of you
don't
there.
they just dump you out?
That's the thing, that after 100 years or something, they can move you or discard you or ask you somebody. They'll try to get in contact with somebody and say, hey, we're full here. So you either can move him or we can discard him.
Or you have to pay for another lot.
I didn't know that.
You have to renew your lot.
That's why I like the idea of buying land just to bury us. And it would be like our own personal cemetery. Because I think the idea too is kind of uncomfortable. Like when I went to see my friend, there's people all around you. You know, and it's just weird. So the idea of it being private, like that's how I would like it. But I think that's a luxury.
As far as materialistic stuff though,
like what I want something in my thing or something.
Like I think
the only thing when I was thinking about this, I'm like, if I was to die, I don't care. You could sell everything. Just don't sell my microphones. Don't sell the shit like and this is the cheapest shit probably I have. You can sell everything else. Sell all the games, all that bullshit, all my computers. I don't give a fuck about that. What I give a fuck about is my microphones.
1080?
I don't give a fuck about that. 1080 and shit. I got a 3080 Ti. Mm-hmm. But you can sell all that shit. I don't care about none of that. Anything, even the Walking Dead shit.
The 1970?
Like, sell the 1970. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't really care. To me, the only thing that matters is the microphones because I feel like it's a piece of history that we can pass down to 4 generations and be like, our great-great-grandpapa fucking had, this is what he used to make this shit. Even if they not give a fuck by then, who knows what they're beyond? But I just think shit like that is tight. Like, you know how people they be like, my grandpa,
heirlooms.
They handed this knife down to my dad and he's going to hand it off to me one day. I think that shit's kind of tight. So
yeah, people do the heirlooms. They're watches, necklaces, earrings.
Because don't you think that's tight? Especially like when you have a good memory of who that person was. Like say your grandpa, he was always in your life. And then one day he passes and he gave it to your dad and then your dad gave it to you. And then you still have the memory and you got his watch on. It's tight to be like, he had this on. And he was a bad motherfucker. Yeah. Now I got it on. Yeah. And it's almost like a reminder of like the expectations you have to live up to. Like, and I think that's why it's tight.
People pass down Bibles. And like,
oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they pass down, yeah,
like religious stuff. And I'm like, oh, it's more tighter when it's been in the family for so long.
Yeah, that's why I was like too. I think it's that's why I think it's tight to have a physical Bible, paper one, instead of just reading everything electronically.
For me, yeah, I don't really care about nothing. Like as far as that I have that I wouldn't want to keep. I mean, I want you guys to sell. I'm trying to think, like, what do I have? There's nothing that I have that I care about keeping.
Everything can go.
I think everything can go. Like the tools. I mean, all the tools and stuff we would just keep just because you always need tools. But like, I mean, they don't have shit.
To me, there's really nothing either. Like aside from the microphone. Because I feel like that shit can't go.
I think though too, like you guys need to take like when like I'm gonna do it so that it's 100%. There's like 2 or 3 people entitled to like my bank accounts. Like they're all gonna be probably 3 same people, or whatever. And we're gonna the only thing that I think of that is like I feel like it's mandatory. Like after I pass, is you need to take like. Probably take like 500 to a G a piece, and you got to hit the casino.
What the heck?
In my memory, got to hit the casino.
I often thought about like, what would you want written on your gravestone? You know how people write personal messages?
Yeah, like it will say like best dad or...
No, like a real quote.
Like...
I think somebody got to be a real quote on that boy.
A real quote? It would be like bad to the bone or whatever?
Nah, I don't know. But it seems like that'd be tight to be like, yeah, that's him. That's what
Here lies.
Nah, that's standard bullshit.
No?
Like, I don't like that. Something that I said, like,
yeah, I know, but it will say like, it'll say your name, and at the bottom will have like quotation marks for like something that you said, like that.
Yeah, or something like that. I think that's more meaningful than just the average thing or like.
We'd have to come up with something badass though, something that's. But my thing would be like something funny. It needs to be something funny. That's my thing. Not like
meaningful.
Yeah,
super
meaningful, super like intelligent, fucking whatever. My shit would just be funny, and it'd probably be in Spanish.
Oh.
Just because it's funny. Every time you go there and you see it, it'd be laugh instead of like sadness. Yeah, it would have to be something funny. Not sure what the hell it'd be though.
Oh, that's why I always thought about like, I thought about I always used to think about like what am I gonna leave behind? You know, and that's why music to me was like, this shit is never gonna die. It's never gonna die. Like, especially when online came, I'm like, there's gonna be some trace somehow, some way, unless they start erasing shit for new shit or some shit like that. But it seems like the internet is gonna live forever. So you'll always have there'll be somebody freaking 10,000 years from now that if they want to, they can go back and listen to my shit somehow, some way.
It seems hard to think though. Like
that's possible?
Like 10,000 years worth of memory? How are you gonna store all that shit?
That's not a problem nowadays. That's a problem nowadays for like us, but not really like there's solutions.
And like, let's say the Earth gets wiped out.
What happens?
Like meteor shit. Like it has to. All this shit would be gone, right? It has to be. Like, there's no way. Even if you reboot the internet,
people would say that like
unless there's shit stored in satellites.
Isn't the internet? I mean, there is shit stored. I don't know how shit works.
Yeah.
But when you bring up meteors, it makes me think of Don't Look Up, the movie. Have you seen that?
I remember you told me about it.
Oh, but in that, like, people, they were telling the whole government about a meteor coming, the scientists were, and nobody believed them. And I would think, like, if we knew that a meteor was going to hit in, like, 30 minutes, like, what would you do? Like, it's over. In 30 minutes, it's over.
What time is it?
It's afternoon.
Like 1 o'clock?
Like 4.
4 o'clock, so it's during the week or weekend?
Weekday.
So weekday at 4 o'clock. So I'll be at work. And the news...
No, you wouldn't, because everybody would, like, say it's already been known. Next week, it's shit's over.
So then nobody would go to work.
But exactly, okay.
But like, I'm just saying, like, it's better scenario if it's like last minute.
Well, like, boom. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, so let's say it's 4 o'clock on a weekday. I'm at work. Sirens come on.
They let you know at 12. They let you know at PM. In 4 hours.
No, they let you know in 30 minutes.
In 30 minutes? That 30 minutes, you got 30 minutes or 30
minutes, you're dead.
Oh, shit.
They just hit the sirens. The fucking Biden came on, fucking the whole broadcast on everything. Broadcast on Univision, everything. And everywhere, radio, nothing worked no more, and everything was just puro Biden. Every computer on Earth connected to Wi-Fi no longer had a screen. It had Biden's face on it, and it was giving everybody a message saying, your phone, everything. Wee-oo. And it was like,
this shit's over.
And he just dropped the whole presidency shit and was like,
may God be with us. May I survive.
He was like, hey, y'all fuck.
I'm going to be in the air.
Yeah, if he said that, y'all fuck. The meteor coming in 30 minutes where the Earth is done. He's like, but he said, we got Air Force One. Only a select few will survive. Do whatever y'all want. Nah.
Yeah, because what would the majority of people do? They would go to their families, right?
Well, this is what I would do. But if I knew 30 minutes, I just seen Biden release the whole shit and basically said, fuck y'all, word life. And then he dipped, and I would be like, fuck, 30 minutes to live. I would go to my bank account and see how much funds I have. I would withdraw it. No, you know what I would do?
You'd be dead already.
Nah, I would just head straight to the casino.
How would you do that?
For one last hand.
What the heck? What's the point? It's not valuable no more.
But it's just for the thrill. Like, see
What
if I
thrill?
can.
There's no thrill in
The
that
thrill is just like.
There's not gonna be nobody there.
Somebody's gonna be there. There's degenerate gamblers everywhere.
Nah, but the thing, the people at the table.
Think about how many people have no families for Thanksgiving, right? That spend Thanksgiving by themselves.
They're gonna go to the casino.
I'm telling you, you don't think so, but I'm telling you.
No, but I'm saying, okay,
I know there's their ideal death would be like playing poker.
Okay, but
with a bunch of motherfuckers.
That's fine, but I'm saying, where's the person that's gonna deal for you?
Bro, we can deal amongst like this. We don't need an actual dealer.
Or to make money.
Their chips are gonna be there. They're not gonna be concerned about money.
You just want to play the game.
Yeah, just play, just get just another hand.
That makes more sense.
One more hand.
Electronic. What if the lights went out?
Fuck it. We'll have little lights on our heads, and it just like.
That's what you would want to do?
Well, it'd be tight to go out gambling. Ooh, man, that's tight.
I don't think that's tight. I think the ideal way to go is just like how they went in the movie and
having food.
Yeah, they all got together. And just sat at the table and ate and
see, but then what if the food is shit though?
How's it gonna be shit? We're gonna cook it ourselves, and then it's gonna be like, of course you can't do all that in 30 minutes, but assuming that we had more time, it'd be like get everybody together.
People wouldn't even be able to make it to our house.
I'm saying that if we had more than 30 minutes.
Yeah, but I'm saying if we only had 30 minutes, what are you doing?
Well, let's talk about what we had if we did have more time. I would say let's all get together like we normally do, like a party. Make some food and let's just eat at the table. And let's act like everything is cool for the kids. And then it would just be, bam, wipe out. You know? But they will see shit. Because in the movie, they see shit just start shaking and falling.
And they continue eating?
Yeah, they just ignored it. They just ignored it.
Yeah, Titanic shit.
Drinking wine. And you can see they're a little bit nervous.
We'd have to pass around the bottle. Huh? Into the lower.
No, because I think they would feel like something is wrong. You can't let the kids know something is wrong.
But they would know. There's no way of hiding it. The world's gonna end. They would hear it everywhere. Every kid, any outlet. They wouldn't
know the world's gonna end.
Yeah, everywhere. So? Yeah, everywhere on the internet, everything. Everyone, even the school. They wouldn't be going to school anymore. They would tell them all the world. Everybody would know. There's no way hiding it. Everybody would know. But the thing would be like, get over it. If we're all dying.
They get over it.
So like.
I mean, I guess.
In like 30 minutes, like there's no fast food anymore.
But I think like...
People are running around with guns because the world's going to end. No more rules.
Yeah, but like just because they're saying it's going to end, that doesn't mean there's no chance. It doesn't, by some miracle that you survive. So it doesn't make sense like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to die anyways. Let me take all this Tylenol or all these drugs. And then the world survives, a piece of it. Your area survives, and you died because of an overdose. Doesn't make sense, right? So to do shit, wild shit, doesn't make sense.
It don't make sense for the common person, but people don't have common sense. People just think, oh, it's over. Let me go do this. Let me go do that.
Especially that would be like, that wouldn't be a bad way to go. That's instantaneous. That's like, boom, and then you sit. Kind of like the submarine when that shit went bang. That shit, it showed like there's the video of it of like, well, what have happened? And it's just like, boom, it's over.
It's like you're alive 1 second and then it's over. Half a second later.
And they measured it in like milliseconds or whatever and how long your brain takes to register pain. They said it was faster than that. So they felt no pain. It was literally like, boom, dead.
It seems so dumb that we know more about the fucking stars than we do about the ocean. Whoa. And I don't understand why. And people keep saying it's because of aliens. Because aliens, yeah. If you think about it, look at how much water is on our planet compared to other planets in our solar system. It's like, this is the spot. And it's something to do with freaking traveling, using water, underwater, some shit. And I'm like, okay, shit makes sense. But why? It seems like if you just think about it, what seems harder to achieve, going to space or exploring the ocean? It seems easier.
It would seem like, the water would be easier.
Seems easier.
I mean, the amount of pressure, you have to design something, but I feel like you would figure that out.
But they're figuring how to put motherfuckers on the moon, how to land shit and take right back off and come back to Earth.
And then that comes the argument of that shit wasn't even real. And
Yeah, but I don't.
But to me, I never understood how the fuck do we know what the fuck a planet looks like so far away? Telescopes? They can go that far?
No, it's all computer. Everything's computer. The images of Mars, all that shit's computer.
How though? I just don't understand that. How do we have an image or we know like the weather on the fucking planet? How?
I don't know. I'm not sure how that works.
How do we measure that? Now maybe I'm just dumb, but it just seems like to me how it's so fucking far away. How do we know what's going on over there? Yet they'll tell you there's no life there. And they say that based on the conditions, but how do we know the conditions?
Because of the way that the sun shines through it, it rejects the atoms and petrifies them and reverse psychology, and it turns it into
illuminates the dust and shit like that.
Yeah, which then in turn creates cybersecurity. And then, what the shit? I remember saying shit like that to people before.
I was
and they'd be like, "Shut the fuck up."
They'd believe you in the beginning, and then they'd be like, "Yeah, shut up.
Shut the fuck up with your stupid shit." Well, photosynthesis, and then it caused that. This should be so funny. People be just
believe you.
What the fuck? There's trees. What? Yeah, I I have no idea how it works, but it seems like there's some type of. There's got to be a reason why there's no effort. It seems like there's zero effort. Like, who's trying to explore the ocean? Fucking nobody. Nobody even cares. Nobody even talks about that. Let's explore the ocean. Nobody cares.
Well, I mean, there is people exploring.
There's certain companies, but they're doing it so the amount that they're doing is so small.
It's obviously not funded the same.
But why like though? NASA How is it so not interesting?
Maybe
there's
because
a shit ton of animals.
Maybe because they think there's nothing in there.
The whales are interesting.
Maybe they're scared. Wouldn't you be scared? Well, I don't like.
I don't like. I'm
not getting in no submarine and going all the way.
I ain't
down.
going in the ocean. And period. Like I would like when I will go, but it's only one time. Like going into the ocean and just seeing puro fucking no water, it's scary.
It's a scary sight.
Yeah, that's scary. Like because we're fucking animals. We're land animals. We don't belong in the ocean. So now you're crossing. You're leaving your hood to go to their hood, and they'll fuck you up. You're not meant for that hood.
Yeah, especially when you don't know what's in there and how deep this shit is. And it's like, what?
It's like you can't, I don't think you can really, like, you can look at pictures, but there's no way to really comprehend, like, how massive and how deep it is. There's no, like, if you've seen it in person, it would be mind blowing. Like, you wouldn't know what the fuck to do. Especially when you're in, like, a submarine, everything seems so, like, you're minimizing the actual experience by being held captive in a fucking
like you can't
really fully see it. You can't really fully experience it.
And it's dark as shit down there.
Yeah, you wouldn't even be able to see it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like even it just I don't know. I found the ocean to be crazy fascinating, and I don't understand why there's not more people pushing for exploration. Seems like it should be minimum half the world should be interested in that. Minimum. Like what? Pay taxes? They want money? Take taxes. Fuck it. I don't give a fuck. Because every year that they discover new animals and shit, it's interesting.
Yeah, but not everybody gives a fuck about that.
When they discovered the fucking squid, the big boy squid,
the fucking big ass one
with the fucking eyes the size of our heads, I'm like, okay, that's just crazy tight. Now that explains why the Vikings and all these people who did early exploration when they traveled across the ocean, that they said that they got attacked.
Sea monsters and shit.
Like sea monsters, huge fucking... Because there's always going to be people who like putting a little bit of sauce on that shit.
Yeah. But it seems like those creatures or whatever they are, they're way below. It seems like they stay... Don't you think that if that shit's that deep, don't you think it has to stay that deep? Like it because of the pressure? Don't you think like it lives here for...
Yeah, and I don't know why it is that deep ocean... animals for whatever reason have this thing where they're just huge. And yeah, I mean, I think if you can bring, I think, a certain animal up, but you have to do it, they gotta
in a certain way
so that they don't fucking explode due to the pressure. But same thing as a human. When people go diving, you gotta decompress. There's certain stages where you gotta sit there for 40 minutes just to decompress and then come back up. And maybe it's the same shit for animals. Like there's sections.
Yeah.
But I don't know how that fuck that works.
See, that's too much. If we're like, we have to stay on standby, that's not a safe thing to me. Nah. It's not meant for me then.
Yeah, no. The only way we explore the ocean is with fucking machines, like submarines, unmanned submarines, and like do it so that it's freaking like we have Wi-Fi everywhere. We can talk to a person across the world. Like, bro, we can't make a machine. They have these new AI people that do fucking picking shit up. They have this new fucking like it's not AI, but it's like I mean it has to be some type of AI. It's like this convenience store that is like a drive-through, and they have everything from cereal to medicine to fucking beer. And you pull up, and it's a big ass fucking arm, and you tell it what the fuck you want, and then she'll move from one side of the store to the other side of the store and grab it for you and put it on the door and shit, bag it and put it in the fucking thing, and you pick it up. How the fuck we doing that? But we can't fucking explore the fucking ocean.
I think it's because we're not as advanced as we think we are. If you think about it, this shit just like we live through fucking the technology jump, like with computers the size of fucking this,
the rooms, the size of rooms,
to fucking to this,
to that,
yeah,
to your phone,
and anywhere. Then that's the crazy part, because if look at the gap, the iPhone was invented in what, in the 2000s?
Yeah, like 2004.
It's only been 20 years. Imagine what we're gonna have 100 years from now. So, and yet we think we're advanced now because it seems like there was a big leap, but that big leap might not be shit compared to what the future is gonna come.
It is crazy to think. They think that if you look at the history, the technology jumps, like from every stage to stage, took a long time. And then all of a sudden, boom, someone's on the moon, boom. We got fucking internet. We can talk to people across the world. We mass produce freaking carrots, like burgers, chickens. Like we're doing all this shit that seems super crazy.
Like people would have thought it was impossible.
We don't have horses. We have cars.
People would say you're crazy.
Yeah.
Cars, and now you have cars that go fucking crazy speeds of 60 seconds and shit.
We get energy from the sun.
Yeah.
Like
that's the biggest source of energy. And it shines on us every day.
I know. Nonstop forever.
And nobody took advantage of it until they knew how.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. What like Elon said, he could power the whole US. But it just seems like it's because it has to be like a majority thing, huh? Why don't they do that? Why isn't energy free?
Energy
or very low cost.
There's too much money in it.
Because if I understand, if you have all that shit full with solar, somebody still got to maintenance them and clean them, unless we build robots that do it.
And the robots fix other robots.
Yeah. But then that would mean you're just leaving these motherfuckers unattended. And if you're leaving them unattended, maybe that's when the crazy shit starts happening.
And then you pull up on the robots, like on a blind inspection, and they're out here fucking partying, effing and stuff. Yeah, what the hell? What's going on? And only 2 robots are doing everything. They're forced. And then they have a king and everything. That'd be crazy, huh? You show up.
Yeah.
What the fuck y'all doing? Get to work, motherfuckers. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
5 years later, huh?
I think that having a personal robot would be badass.
Well, I think it would be tight.
Because you would tell them like, bro, I hate taking the trash out. I hate it, especially in the winter. And you can tell them like, hey, motherfucker, you better have my car started at 7:40. Oh, it's your ass.
Well, but like, that car starts by itself, bro. So that's it.
Oh, yeah, huh?
Yeah.
You better, yeah, huh?
I think that just every time I think about that, I think it will be a thing. And I think it reminds me of Detroit Become Human, the game, because it shows us what life would be like that. Where that motherfucker running errands for you.
I don't want him to be that real, though.
Cleaning the house. Because
it's creepy.
It is creepy, but they have trust picking up the kids, go and do running errands and shit like that. And they have like a thing to detect you and shit. Scan.
Yeah.
And they can just scan shit and know like, oh, something's wrong with this part, this. Like that motherfucker would be able to look at a vehicle and just say, oh, this is wrong with it.
And fix it.
And it will tell you, want me to order it for you? on AutoZone, on some Amazon Prime shit. You know how you could tell it to buy shit now? Like that.
It seems like I'd have more trust in a car, even though it's the same shit powered by AI, right? And I'll trust. Eventually, we're gonna get to a point where like a fully autonomous cars are gonna be a thing, and people are gonna trust it. It's gonna be just standard. And I'll much rather trust the car drive by itself than have a robot, like a normal same. But you would think it'd be the same thing, be like an actual robot human, and he gets in the car and drives. I'd much rather the car drive than have a whole human looking robot go in a car and go drive them, pick them up. It just seems more creepy when you become when you start envisioning these computers into humans.
You want to be able to distinguish them, like not convince one, like, oh shit, you're not human.
Yeah,
but it seems like creepy. People would want to make them human though.
Yeah, it just seems creepy to have a human. Like a human, like realistic robot.
Like everybody would buy one. Why wouldn't you? You would have to tell that motherfucker. Like, imagine having to have a robot, and of course they would sell you software and shit. Like, teach your robot how to build houses or how to fucking do that shit for you. And you just buy it, you install it on that motherfucker, you give him the tools or whatever, or he go gets the shit. That's tight. Send that motherfucker to Home Depot. Yeah. Hey, bring me. You don't even have to tell him. He's like, this is what I need. Confirm, like the amount. Is that cool? Yeah, go get it.
You would hit a budget, huh? I need a home for this budget,
and he'll figure it out.
Yeah, and he'll figure it out, and it would be up to code.
But that's the whole thing. Is the thing where if like you're making robots that have emotions, they could be happy and sad and shit like that, because people would buy one. If they're lonely, right? People will buy them and then start doing things to them. Yeah. And that they would build them for that.
I know there'd be software for that.
They do that in the game. You can buy one. You could go pick one and just buy one for that. And it has multiple
entrances?
Yeah, no, not that.
Oh.
I'm saying like it can do that, but it could also fucking clean your dishes. That's why people would say, this is cool, like, to have him clean the fucking rooms every day, no longer need a maid. And sure, it would be like a big investment at first, but it would pay for itself. Like, it would just clean up your house. It would do a bunch of shit that clean your laundry, do all that shit, install. You would hand him shit and he would just he would just hang it in your room and shit.
Yeah, you'd be like, hey, mount this TV for me. And he would mount it himself, huh?
I think the tightest shit is being able to send the robot somewhere. Hey, take this motherfucker to Flint. Or, hey, go to Flint and bring me some tacos. Or not to Flint, but to Troy.
And bring them and somehow bring it to me.
And he'll keep them motherfuckers warm.
Yeah. Somehow put it in your stomach where it's just like a oven to keep them nice and toasty. I want them at a specific temperature at 175 by the time it reaches my mouth. Wow. And then he's like, yes, sir. It seems like it'd be damn near immoral to
do that, right?
To deny, because the convenience of that, right? The luxury, it seems like you're at a disadvantage if you don't have one. You'd have to have one.
It would become standard, like you would have
like one. A car. You would have to have one.
You're gonna have one.
Maybe different models.
Well, like in the game, they rebel and shit. And then the cops hunt them down.
So they rebel individually.
Yeah. They're just like, they have a number like, oh, these motherfuckers went rogue. And now the cops go find them. And they have robot cops that find them too.
So it's like kind of like racist.
No, they have real people with robot cops.
Yeah, but it's like...
So they just use him because this motherfucker can scan the...
So it's pretty traitors, traitors.
Yeah. So in the game, a lot of times they look for sympathy from the robot. And the dude's named Connor. He's a cop. That motherfucker showed no sympathy. He's like, nah, I'm a cop. You're going to jail. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I'm programmed.
Well, it's not going to jail. It's like, we're shutting you down.
We're killing
And that's why these fucking, these robots or whatever you want to call them are so scared. Because you're saying, I'm going to kill you. And they're like, fuck that. I don't want to die. So they just figure out any way to survive.
But that's all programming. They're programmed to want to live. Huh?
Because that robot, you can do anything to them. So a lot of times people would buy them and abuse them. beat the shit out of them, sleep with them whenever they want, do whatever they want, and it's legal. You can do whatever the fuck you want. And there's a case in the game where that happened to one of the robots, and it happened over and over and over. And then this motherfucker had enough and killed his owner. Killed him, and it's a crime scene.
But why would you want
and stab the fuck at him? I think like.
But why would you want? That's when emotions come into play, though, huh? Like, why would you want a robot with emotions? What's the benefit? What would you want a robot with anger?
I think maybe to comfort you.
Yeah, but why anger? Why jealousy? Why pain? Why would you want him to feel pain? Like, and they probably feel all this shit.
Maybe so they can relate to you. Say, hey, that's just painful. I got hit with it yesterday. They're telling you. Because if they don't know, then they don't know. And they can't warn you. Maybe as a safety thing.
I don't know.
Maybe to be able to study your happiness and shit like that. To bring you joy and shit like that. And they can only bring you joy if they know what that is.
I mean, maybe if like emotions will create some... The only thing I can think of is emotions create a more intelligent being. Like a more intelligent robot. And the more intelligent, it's like you can't have one without the other. So if you want a super smart robot, that shit comes with it. It's like water. You can't. If you have water and you throw it on your face, you're gonna get wet regardless. Like there's just the thing that happened with water.
Yeah, so that motherfucker killed them.
Stabbed them.
Yeah, killed them and then went crazy, right? And they hunted that motherfucker down and they shut him down.
Shut him down, like kill him, like shoot him.
No, they can shut you down, but like the normal way. But a lot of times they don't want to, so then they do shoot them, or they figure out a way to shut them down.
I mean, that seems like an interesting job. Hunt down robots.
That seems kind of fun though, but that's because because it seems robots. like one thing about hunting humans and killing humans is like that's a human, but if you know it's a machine. You have no attachment to it. It's like, oh, you're just a piece of metal. But then the people are saying like that you have no sympathy for it. It's because you're not a human, bro. I'm shooting you like without thinking. No matter how human you look or behave, that's all programmed. But then they would say like if you build something so intelligent that feels pain, sadness, and all that, isn't it wrong to abuse them or shoot them in the face? Because he ceases to exist. And he lived and he existed. And he would have made a difference.
So they say someone was born that day. It's not even though it's a machine, something was born that day when they turned them on.
Yeah, because it's life, right? And then we would consider what is life. And they have a bunch of these motherfuckers doing all the road work and shit like that in the game. And they have charging stations and shit, like kind of like a bus stop. You know how they have that bench and shit? And they just go under the light and they charge. And they just do all the road work and shit like that.
I mean, but it seems like, I don't know, it seems interesting.
It seems tight to have robots do all the shitty work we don't want to do.
But then if you think like, what happens if the robots one day like just wake up and they don't work anymore? All of them.
Fix them. That's like the normal thing. What happens if your machinery doesn't work?
Yeah, but if you think...
Or your tool breaks.
But like, I'm talking about something happens where like, if you get reset meteor-wise or something like that, if you get reset where you can't fix it, there's no fixing it, it's just done already.
Yeah, but I think that's the case with what we have right now. What we depend on right now.
Yeah, but you think there's still a lot of people that know how to do shit with their hands. If all the robots start doing everything with their hands.
But it's declining.
And that's probably bad.
It's gonna happen. It's inevitable.
Because
you think about like the way shit is done back then till it's done now. People will build houses with a fucking hammer and nails.
And now they can't even build a sturdy house.
Now they can't even build a room or a wall.
Yeah.
Well, people can, but I'm saying like a lot of people will build their own homes and shit in the woods and shit.
I never liked the woods. Don't see the point in the woods. Being in the woods, I hate mosquitoes. I like. Remember that video you showed me with the freaking cockroach getting stabbed?
Yeah.
And the torture devices. Like if there was something like that for mosquitoes, I would be into that because I hate the thing that Like one of the things that I hate the most ever in the whole world and the whole life and all that shit is when you're sleeping and you hear I hate that shit. I hate it.
It seems like they always fuck with you when you're sleeping.
Yeah, and they always want to come next to your ear for whatever reason. I remember I covered myself one time. I covered my face and I left my hand out. I couldn't go to sleep. This motherfucker kept fucking buzzing on my ear. So I covered my whole face and I left my hand out. So like to bait it. And I'm like, I'm gonna wait for this motherfucker to bite me and I'm gonna end his life. And I waited there for like 5 minutes. I waited there for like 5 minutes, all fucking damn near fucking suffocating myself with all the carbon fucking dioxide I was breathing out, whatever. And fucking all sweaty. And as soon as this motherfucker landed and took a bite, boom.
Smacked him.
Killed him. It was hella satisfying to see him die. Because I could sleep hella good, but I had to wait 5 minutes for him to actually land. But yeah, fuck them. I hate mosquitoes.
Thank you for listening to the AB podcast. You can follow us in the links below. All our social medias are linked there. If you want to buy some merch, the merch that we're usually wearing in the podcast, you can buy it as well. The link will be below.